right, let's call this meeting to order. This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education and the public for conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting, FLSD Policy 0165.1. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, you may be seated. Do we have a volunteer to read the mission and vision statement? I can read it. Our mission is to foster academic and social growth for each student in a safe, supportive school environment. Our vision is to be a learning community that inspires our students and staff to think critically, grow intellectually, and live with integrity. Item number 3, additions to and approval to the agenda. We were going to add an executive session.
Yes.
Okay.
And there will be no action taken after that.
Okay.
But it's for the purpose of reviewing pending lawsuits or legal issues.
Perfect. Okay. All those in favor of amending the agenda, please indicate by stating aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to item number 4, approval of the minutes from the regular meeting of October 20th, 2025. May I have a motion, please?
All motion.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor of approving the minutes from the regular meeting of October 20th, please indicate by stating aye.
Aye.
All right. Motion passes. Moving on to item number 5, administrative report, brings us to Mr. Smith.
Dr. Dine.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Superintendent Smith and I are going to collaborate. Possibly. Use the password. I'm going to present about our federal programs, so our title funding, and then Mr. Smith will get specifically into our IDEA funding and how that is spent. Thank you. Thanks. So for the 25-26 school year, we have received Title I, Title II, Title III, Title IV, and IDEA funds. It did happen a little later than it typically does in a school year, but around the end of August, we found out how much we would be receiving. Title I, those are our Improving Basic Programs funds, and so you have an option. Any district has the option to either have a targeted assistance program or a school-wide program. And Finneytown has selected to use the school-wide programming for the past several years. That allows for flexibility and students who can come in and out of getting that support. So the way we have used those funds for this year, they are for free salaries for classroom teachers. And then it's also required that part of the funding goes for family and community engagement. So if you were with us not 2 weeks ago on October 30th, Karen Bowsey, Lori Gare, and Jen Bayless did a fantastic job designing our Reading in Your Brain. We had that evening, we offered food, and then they read a story to the parents and the students, and families left with all kinds of resources. So they always do a fantastic job with that. We offer it each year. They spend a lot of time and energy planning that, and then Meredith Baker, Jesse Martin, and Tom Snyder were also there to help support it. So I would say it was a huge success. The feedback we got from families was very positive. Our Title II funds are specifically for the adult learning. That's what they're allotted for. And this year we are putting those funds towards our CPI training. That stands for Crisis Prevention Intervention. In years past, we've had one CPI trainer. The way that program works, you send a person off to what's called a Train the Trainer program, and then that person comes back and can train your district. We've expanded that, so we now have 3 trainers in the district, 2 assistant principals, 1 from each building, and then 1 of our intervention specialists. So they actually attend their training next week, and will come back and in January provide training district-wide for our staff. Our Title III funds are specifically for language instruction for our English learners. So our focus with that is the academic supports. We use those funds for an EL educational assistant, and then also to provide professional development supplies. That is also part of the requirement with the funding, that some of those funds are going towards the professional development, not just of our EL teachers, but of all of our staff, towards educating our English language learners. Our Title IV funds are for student support and academic enrichment. So we use these funds to focus on restorative practices and project-based learning. And we use them for various professional development and implementation of those throughout the year. And then our IDEA funds, that's our Individuals with Disabilities Act. Those are focused on specialized instruction for our students with disabilities to ensure that they're receiving FAPE, free and appropriate public education. So those funds go towards 5 salaries for special education teachers and for 1 educational assistant. And then the other portion of those funds go towards specific programs, particularly in reading, literacy, and math, that our intervention specialists choose to use to help with that Tier 2 and Tier 3 support. Part of our IDEA funds, what the state does each year, in January, they give every district what's called a special education profile. So that is a lot of data letting you know how are you doing towards reaching the goals and the needs of your students with disabilities. And so we received that report in January of 2025. And that's part of how we decide how we're going to budget the funds. And so that's where our approach was to increase the staff support, use those evidence-based reading and math programs, and have the professional learning on data-driven instruction. And at this point,
Thank you.
Mr. Smith will get into the specifics. Do you want the clicker or you want me to?
No.
Okay.
Go back to slide 8, please. Glad we numbered these, right? Okay. So there's a very important part of slide 8. And box number 3 talks about the increased proficiency in reading and math and closing the achievement gap. One of the things we realize, we cannot close the achievement gap for students with disabilities unless we expose them to the general ed curriculum. You cannot. If you keep it as a separate entity where you're only working on whatever their dysfunctional or their disabilities are, they'll only stay there. They have to be introduced to the regular curriculum in order to catch up with the rest of the students. There's no other way. So one of the other pieces, their IEP determines how we fund it. So it's not just nebulous numbers and dollars and talking about how we're going to do it. Their IEP determines how we fund it. Now, I have to warn you, the title funds that we receive are not enough to take care of every student's IEP. Some of that money has to come from the general fund. So we have to look at the IEPs very, very carefully to determine how do we make this work for not just some students, every single student. Okay. So the idea of Part B, fiscal year 25-26, I'm going to talk about it just for a little bit. So what is it? So the federal government says, I am going to invest. We're going to invest in young people's education. We're going to give them the necessary funds in order for them to be as functional as the regular ed kids, all right? So the government says, I'm going to step in. But ODU, it used to be the Ohio Department of Education, but the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce changed its name, and now it's really saying, okay, how do we make this work for every single student, not just a few? All right? Some students have disabilities in a particular area, but not in all areas. So we have to figure out how to make it work, but we have to review their IEPs regularly to make sure that we're putting the funds in the right place at the right time with the right instructors doing the work. Who is it for? Children between the ages of 3 and 21. That's who it's for. That's who it funds. That's who we support. And we are very, very committed to making sure that the funding goes with the child and the educational services stay with the child while we're trying to promote them and trying to help them get on track. The state report card gives us an indicator that says, are you closing the achievement gap? Well, it's not just closing the achievement gap with regular ed students, it's with students with disabilities as well. Dr. Dinan mentioned, how do we use it? How do we use the money? Hiring special ed teachers, providing specially designed instruction, assistive technology, professional development for educators, because the world is changing. So we have to make sure that our educators are on target to know how to educate students, because the standards are changing, the world is changing, and we have to make sure that our students are functioning just as a normal student would be. The last part is the transportation services. That's just if it's required by the students on the student's IEP. So, what is this money used for? Where does it go? Who does it go to? Well, if you notice, a large portion of it goes to personnel, 61%, and that's $62,000. That's just the IDEA federal funds. The benefits are $27,929, materials, $6,403, and purchase services are $5,399. The general fund. This can't be funded alone, because the general fund has to kick in order for us to meet our needs, in order for us to meet your students' needs. If we just use the IDEA funds or the federal funds that we received, it wouldn't be enough. We would end up giving you excuses saying we can't do this because. We don't want to give you excuses. We want to tell you we're going to do it with the funds that we have plus the additional funds that we receive from the federal government. So purchase services is $121,993. Supplies and materials, $404. Benefits of $117. And the personnel services is $346. So you could see that most of this goes to personnel, 59%, 21%, 20%. Of course, we get our 100% from that total. Special ed, these are all funds. So we put all the expenditures together. Personnel is $408,384, which is still 59%. Benefits are $145,198, 21%. Purchase services, so these are like OT, PT, some of the other things, and professional development for our teachers. So we have to make sure that when we're talking about having professional development, sometimes you have to go get those services from other places where there are experts that will come in and teach teachers about other essential things that young people need. So, expenditures by fund. The general fund is $585,866. That's 85% goes from the general fund, and then from IDEA B is $101,917, excuse me. If you notice that when the allocations were first delivered to Finneytown, in school year 18, $732,000. And if you notice, something happened in 23 or 22. This funds dropped to $664. That's all they allocated. What happens, the general fund must make up the difference. And there was not any real discussion other than that's what we do. We have to make up the difference. When the federal government says, hey, we're going to cut you, we're only going to give you this much money, then we have to make up the difference. There's really not a lot of conversations about it. You can't tell young people, well, the federal government made cuts, so we're not going to be able to deliver services. That doesn't make sense. The students are not responsible. We have to be responsible for them. Questions? At least one.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for that presentation. When you said that the school has to be responsible during that fiscal year where the federal funding dropped.
Yes, sir.
Is that what happened?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes. So once you look at, one of the things that we want parents to be very, 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 very diligent and committed. If you notice that when you're doing your yearly review of your student's IEP, if there are people in the audience that have students with disabilities, one of the things that we want you to be able to tell us is if you notice that the services are not the services that there were before. If the IEP has not been amended, then those services have to be the same services that they were before. And the other part that I want people to understand, last month Dr. Dinan talked about growth versus achievement. we're growing students as expeditiously as we can. And I know that people measure districts based on how well they achieve, but one of the things that I really want you to talk to teachers about, and especially when they're mending or working on the IP, how is my child growing? Is he growing as well as the other students? Is he growing backwards? Is he going forward? How is he growing? And is he growing in content that's going to help him become the student that we want him to be? All right. Yes, sir.
With it being federal funded, and with what's happening to our federal Department of Education right now.
Yes, sir.
Do we know how this is impacting, how financially this is impacting?
All we know, sir, is that it is unpredictable because we don't know how the federal government is going to continue funding. And we have a high value on education, and maybe the rest of the country may not have the same value that we have. But one of the main things that we want to do, and it's not really about the report card, it's more about making sure that children are involved in activities, children get a free, appropriate education, and they're being able to have the same opportunity as their peers. Okay. Thank you.
For that. All right. And you have a facility report coming up next. Is that for Grant?
Yes.
Okay. He wears many hats.
We all do. So thanks so much for letting me just kind of give you a little update. So as we were thinking about all the things we could update you on, Mr. Smith and I thought you may enjoy seeing kind of the time-lapse video we have of a secondary campus. So we did do some new aerials today, so it's a little snowy. So we'll take a look at this and then I'll kind of answer some questions about what's happening on campus. Boy, I went to sleep, it forgot it passed out. All right, so, you can clap for that.
Thank you.
So, as you can see, lots of changes over the last 5 or 6 months. This summer, the majority of our work is really around all of our utility work, and then for the last couple months, it was really just getting the foundation set, all of our footers set, and then the first several rows of foundation. And so now, at this point, you really start to see the walls going up on campus. So we are the first floor on the, we call it Area A of the building. It's the academic side where all the classrooms are going to be. That side, pretty much the entire first floor is done with concrete block. So the CMU is all in place, and we're moving forward. We've already done slab pours on that side of the building. So we have some nicer floor materials going in classrooms, and then we have polished concrete going in hallways and on our bigger areas on campus, and that just is a really strong, durable material that hopefully will allow us to have less maintenance down the road. And then really our focus has been on trying to get through all the additional decisions that are coming down the road as the construction team is going really quick on site. So our work really lately has been really digging into finishes, just, any kind of last minute details that we had to iron out with technology, timeline. We really have ironed down the timeline, and so we do anticipate bringing you guys a finished calendar for next school year at our next board meeting, as well as for the 27-28. So we're planning on bringing you guys 2 calendars. As of right now, we go into our last day of first semester. It's looking like it's going to be Friday, December 18th or 17th, whatever. Yeah, 17th or 18th, and then that Saturday will be moving day. So, yeah, and then we have a couple in-service days / PD days before we go on break, and then there's 2 more after break. So staff will get a chance to do some moving at secondary campus before they leave for winter break. They'll get a couple more days after winter break. So it kind of lets people have some time to kind of get the room set up, but also leave, hopefully for winter vacation with a little bit, like at least you kind of know what you have left to get set in your space. And then we'll have a moving company that does that work on Saturday of, I think, the 18th or 19th, whatever that day is in December. So lots of action happening. So what questions do
Exciting.
you guys have?
What's the timeline for demolition of the old building after this? After we
Yeah.
close things out?
So we have abatement for about a month and a half to 2 months in the 300 and 200 buildings, and then in NP. And then demolition right now is towards the end of February into March. And then some of the demolition will wait until, like the NP, I think I'm gonna end up having to push a little bit into the end of April, maybe try and line that up with, or in March, April, just trying to avoid being real close to kids while we have things going on. So we're just gonna kind of mush that around. But the plan, as of right now in the construction contract, we will be done with the official big work by the end of the summer, 2027. So,
Mr. Anderson,
yes, sir.
on time,
Everything-
time?
yes, we are on time, yep.
budget?
So, yeah, relatively on budget with, change orders are change orders, unfortunately. This, yeah.
The treasurer picked up on
So, I mean, so just to be brutally honest with everybody, like, this is a very different project
Yes.
than our elementary.
Yes.
And when we built the elementary, we were building it on baseball and softball fields. There was nothing there. This is a campus that's been occupied since the 50s. We have all sorts of buried things that we had no idea were there, and we thought things were routed one way or another, and they weren't. It's just a very messy, complicated site. In the end, we're gonna have a really great product, but it is, yeah, there are some things, which is why we brought some change orders to you last month. There'll be some more change orders this next month for sure. It's just trying to keep all the balls in the air, keep progress going. Right now, we have a typical kind of construction weekly, construction progress going on in terms of, it's kind of a typical 40-hour work week for the guys. If at any point we start to get behind, we go back into high gear like we were over the summer.
Very
Like
good.
6 days a week for 10 hours.
Very
a day.
good.
And that's what we did all summer long, which is why we did not come, we came back to school on time, and we will make sure that this project is done on time by December of 2026.
Mr. Anderson, I'd like to commend Ms. Miller and teachers and students. I don't know if people understand how difficult it is to stay focused while you have pounding and bricks and trucks moving about. And I think that's a testament of true leadership in that building. So thank you, Ms. Miller. Is she here? All right.
There it is.
Can I ask one other thing?
Yeah,
With
absolutely.
the locally funded initiatives connecting the new building to the PAC and to the gym, so if all the demo is done August 2027,
Yeah.
what are we looking at as far as being able to make those connections?
So we cannot have an OFCC building touch an existing building.
Period.
That's state rules. So we would, anything like that would be probably 4 or 5 years out.
Really, that far out?
Yeah, like just transparency, I still have the elementary project open. It's not, there are still things that I am working on to rectify as part of that contract. So in terms of other projects, what we have committed to the community is 4 main projects right now beyond the main building. So we have a plan in a partnership with the alumni to renovate the PAC, as well as finish renovating the gym. So we did do some updates to the gym, but we have not done the lobby, we have not done any of the kind of storage room areas, so there's a lot of things that we can do in there and we would like to do for kids. And then the other 2 projects we told the community we would do, because we lost them when we built the elementary, is bring back baseball and softball fields. And so those are the 4 projects that we are focused on. And so that is going to be the work, and I will say there's some real dovetailing of the end of this project, the OCC project, with the baseball and softball fields. Those will kind of be literally transition from one to the other as we're doing earth moving, because we don't want to do earth moving twice. We want to basically, we get the buildings down, we get whatever earth moving we can get from the state, and then we have whatever construction company ends up getting the bid for the baseball field to come right behind. So, so that's the plan as of right now. And that, again, we're hoping that with that, we're building fields in the fall of '27. It's a little lofty if we can have them by the spring of '28, ready for kids. That's my hope. So I don't know if that's realistic quite yet, but I hope to have that soon. And those are things that we'll probably get under contract at least 9 months out, because it is very time sensitive, because we need that to basically dovetail or we're going to run out of time for kids.
True.
So,
Good job.
yep.
Thank you.
Yep,
Thank you
you're
so
very
much
welcome.
for that.
Yep,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you for that. All right. Moving on to our band students. They are headed to Indianapolis. So we welcome our band students.
Whoever's talking, you can stand in front of his mic. Or you can grab it. I don't know what you're doing. And you guys can do whatever you want.
Oh, we get a free concert.
Hello.
Hello?
Hi. I'm Markia Walker. I'm the Kistner. I play the flute. Clarinet. Some things I love about band is I love the people that I meet. I love making friends, and I love being a section leader, so I can talk to a lot of the younger kids. I've stayed in band, well, high school band and marching band, for these 4 years, because every year I grow and become a better person than I was the year before. The band directors, they kind of guide me, they kind of see when I'm not having the best time, and they help me out, and I love that so much. They're such a good person. And I'm excited to go to BOA so I can watch some amazing bands, because I'm a band nerd, and also hang out with some of my friends.
So I'm pretty, sorry, I kind of love band because, like, it's my safe space. Like, I specifically go there, like, I just go there and I kind of forget about my life everywhere else. And so band is definitely my family. I tend to just have fun, especially band competitions. Like, that's just me being myself, and I don't have to pretend who I am. That's also why I'm excited for Bands of America. It's kind of just something like a lot of kids don't get to do, and so especially for Finneytown as a small like school, it's really big for us, especially seeing like all these huge bands. Like, wow, we get to do this. This is like really amazing. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
If I could just say something really quickly, sports teams, competition teams, bands, that kind of thing are very important to a community, and I just appreciate how you represent Finneytown.
Totally.
Right, and the F on the uniforms, right, and you are a great representation of our community everywhere you go, and I'm very proud of you, and thank you for doing that.
That's so kind. Thank you.
So do we get a free tune or something? I mean,
Yeah, let's hear it.
I'd like to hear
Lights on,
something.
nice.
Yes. Bravo.
Thank you guys so much.
That was awesome.
That was
Never
awesome.
heard our fight song with such a small group, so that was awesome.
Amazing, guys. All right, how do we go after that? All right, RPM student stories. Mr. Smith.
RPM?
Ready for us?
Yes?
We're ready.
Awesome. Come on up. Everybody who came to be recognized as a restorative peer mediator, if you would come up and line up here so the audience can see you.
Oh, awesome.
We're so glad they came. I'm going to turn it over to them really quickly, but I wanted to say we trained our not last class, but the last class of restorative peer mediators that we trained were in September, and we trained 14 students at that time in grades 7 through 12. And these students got their families to come help them be recognized this evening, and we're really glad that they came out tonight. And we want to honor the service that they offer to our community. And so I'm going to turn it over to whoever wants to volunteer. First question, BJ, come on up. I've kind of told them what I was going to ask them. Why was it important for you to become a restorative peer mediator?
So like personally for me, I like to help solve other situations because that's one thing I've learned to do that as I've grown up. Because knowing me in the past, I was a hothead, and I've grown up to be calm and collective. So
Very good. Very good.
Thank you. We're going to give you something in a second. If anybody else would like to come up and share do what? No, stay up. We're going to recognize you. Thanks, BJ. Anybody else want to share something that's been meaningful to them since they've had their training?
Everyone's so shy.
Yeah.
Come on, Aurelia.
Anybody? Thank you. Appreciate it.
I think being a RPM has like helped me with also helping other people with the same stuff that like I've had to work on myself and help me help other people grow. Because I think a lot of people feel like when an adult tells you certain things, it's kind of like, okay, well, you feel like they haven't been in your shoes before, even though sometimes they have. So I think hearing it from a student helps people like grow.
Bravo.
Thank you. All right, so what we have certificates to recognize the service that they've all done for their community in grades 7 through 12. We also have a lanyard for each student, and on the lanyards, there are the restorative questions on the back of their lanyard, so that if they're ever in a conflict or mediating a conflict, they forget, they can say, you know, what happened? How'd that make you feel? What's the impact? What's happening? How do we move forward? And so they will receive those lanyards along with the certificate. So I'll call their name as we get to them. First up, we have senior Rochelle Ross. Make sure I pronounce your name right. Alana Humphreys. And Anthony had other plans tonight, but he changed them to be here for some.
Oh, yeah.
This is Eli's first year, Eli Bowman. And we have another senior, this is his first year in the training. No, junior. Richard Rankin. Next we have Relish Ortiz. And last but not least, BJ Hawkins. One last round of applause for all of them. Sure. So at this time, if you're a parent here to support or the adult to support your, will you come up and stand with your child and we can get a photo?
It's
Thank
huge.
you.
Awesome.
Oh, I love it, Mom. I love it. Yes.
before you sit down, I need to ask the parents a question. Were they always this good? Okay, all right, all right.
Someone said yes.
Thank you.
Fantastic. You're playing you're a cheerleader, you're just doing it all. Fantastic, way to go.
We thank those students.
coming, guys.
Thank you, guys. All right, Ms. Bayless brings us to you.
Hi, thank you so much. My name is Jen Bayless. I'm the literacy coordinator, and I was fortunate enough this summer to get to go on a sabbatical for 3 months to Surkhet, Nepal. So I wanted to start by extending my gratitude to you for approving for me to take this opportunity, to our administration for supporting me and going, and it just meant a lot to me. It's been a dream of mine for several years to go to Nepal since I started working here in Finneytown. And I met my first Nepali family. I had never worked with people from Nepal before. I got very interested. I'll just use a first name. Soni was my first student, and she really just was amazing, and her family was amazing, and I just wanted to know more. So through those students, I learned a lot about Nepal and the culture, but I wanted even more. And so I had a dream. And I just waited and waited for 10 years, and it finally happened. So this summer was truly magical for me. I was in Surkhet, Nepal, and I worked at Coppola Valley School. It's a nonprofit school funded by Blink Now Foundation that's out of New Jersey. The school serves the most vulnerable children in Surkhet. These students who go to school here are either orphaned by both parents or one. Surkhet there's a picture of the city. It's a beautiful, lush place. It's gorgeous. Nepal is a developing country, so they have those same struggles a developing country has. Infrastructure is not very good there. But this school is absolutely amazing. It's top 10 schools in the world for environmental sustainability. Everything is green. It's the most green campus in Nepal. And it was absolutely a joy to work there. The mission of the school is to change the world by empowering Nepal's children, and for 3 months I got to be a small part of that mission, and it was absolutely wonderful. The woman who found the school, her name was Maggie Doyne, and she wrote a book about her experience. She went to Nepal when she was 18 on a gap year, and she got to Surkhet, and in the riverbed there were children breaking rocks, and she just couldn't figure out how this happened, how these little children are breaking rocks every day. Why aren't they in school? What's going on? And so she thought, what can I do? I'm 18. So she took her money, or she went and she found out how much it would cost to send someone to school for a year, $25. So she said, I'm going to send a student to school. So she went and met a family, sent the little girl to school. The mom was so excited to send her to school, but she came back the next day and there were more children in the riverbed. And she said, I really didn't solve any problem. I just sent one child to school. So she decided to call her parents back in the U.S. and say, I need you to send me my $5,000 of babysitting money that I saved. I'm staying here and I'm building a home. And I'm building a school for these children. And when I tell you, it's making me cry. It's the most amazing place. And she's an amazing person. So that decision, that one decision of that one 18-year-old girl had such an effect on this community. There are no children breaking rocks in the river anymore. None. And it is absolutely amazing. Other people have come there and done the same thing, and it was absolutely beautiful. So I'll start telling you a little bit more about my time. They gave me the nickname Crybaby while I was there because I cried all the time. So my work there, I was an educational specialist. I worked with curriculum implementation and professional development. I did a lot of what I do here. I helped teachers with different methods, and I'll tell you, it's very similar. Education is universal. Literacy is universal. So as much as I was afraid that I wasn't prepared because I don't speak Nepali, and I had imposter syndrome, I thought, there's no way I can do this. Like flying over there, I got freaked out and said, what am I doing? I'm going to get there and no one's going to know what I'm talking about. but that wasn't true. It was absolutely amazing. So I worked with teachers from primary up to through secondary school. I had notes. Well, I'm not even looking at them. But the one thing I want to share with you the most is what I didn't anticipate when I got on the airplane to go to Nepal. There's several things. One is that my passion for literacy extends all borders. I didn't expect for it to be reignited the way it was when I got there. Reading with those students and alongside them and watching them take risks to learn to read in English and Nepali, they speak both languages, they read and write in both, was one of the most transformative things of my life. The joy that I saw in their eyes when they could do something that they couldn't do before was absolutely amazing. It reminded me so much of why I became a teacher in the first place 27 years ago. So it doesn't matter if you're in Nepal or Ohio, when somebody's eyes light up because they understand something, when they've discovered something new, and that they know they have a voice that's worth sharing, it's very magical. And I got to experience that every single day while I was there. Another thing, that's my Magic of Literacy slide. Aren't they cute? They're the best. So the 8th grade class was a class that really stole my heart. Their teacher, Miss Anshul, took me on my first day there. The class, I would go with her every morning to class. And at first, there was a lot of hesitation. They didn't talk to me. They didn't respond to me when I spoke to them. I didn't really know their context, so I was also kind of afraid. But we just started building trust. I started making fun of myself. I started trying to speak Nepali. We took some time to understand each other, and we started taking risks and making mistakes together and being vulnerable with each other and helping each other when we did make mistakes. And then everything shifted. They became my family. They became my family there. I don't know why I'm so emotional about this. It was amazing. What is wrong with me? Okay. Anyway, we read this book together because they all went to the library and were interested, and they all were holding it. Me and their teacher and I had read several novels with them, and she said, "Do you think we should read that book with them?" And I said, "God, it's full of trauma. It's full of death. It's full of a lot of sadness, but it's also full of love and hope and joy. But it's their story." So we kind of decided we were going to do it. We were going to read the story with them. And much like I am right now, we sat with them. We said, we're going to read the story. I wanted to make sure it was okay with them because it was their story. I didn't want it to be too hard for them. And they were so excited. One, because they kept thinking their name was going to be in this book. And a couple of them, their name is in the book. And two, it was the one time as a teacher where background knowledge wasn't something I had to worry about. This was their origin story. And I got to share it with them. And so it wasn't like I was trying to get them to understand something. It was the English part that was hard, but it was the actual story and the feeling, and the amazing person that Maggie is and what she did for them. They already knew, and they already had it in their hearts. So when we read it, it was absolutely magical. They cried, I cried, we laughed. There are parts in here that they're like, that's not right. Like, we had the best time. I will tell you this one part of the book that I read with them. As I'm sitting in front of them, much like I'm standing in front of you, I'm reading, they're following along in their books. And Maggie had just, in the book, gotten off the phone with her parents, and she didn't have the words to say what she wanted to say. So she just said, "Thank you, I love you." They're going to send her the money. And then she gets home and she hears this. "I want to give these kids what you gave to me, a childhood filled with love, an opportunity to be a child without having to worry about your most basic human needs, like how many rocks you'll break in a day or when the next meal will come." I read that line, and I looked in their eyes, and I said, "You're not breaking rocks. You're not worried about food. Life here has changed so much, and they got it, and it was so amazing. And all they want to do is give back. That's all they want to do is to keep it going. So this class changed my life, and so did their teacher. Maybe I'll send her a link of this. She can watch it. The other part of my time there was spent at the children's home. Maggie built a home for children. She's raised 90 kids in Nepal. And so in my evenings and on the weekends, I would go to the children's home and read stories. They dance. They're always dancing and singing and always eating. So we always had a meal to share. We always were having fun. I would go in the evenings and read. A lot of the kids have a lot of trauma, and in school in the day, they would not look, not talk, not engage. But at home, I could get them to do anything. At school, it was a struggle. So the children's home is truly an amazing place, and they just built a new one, so they're getting ready to move in. It's absolutely beautiful. It's across the street from the school. I'm sorry, I got off my notes. Another thing that struck me is the professional learning that I facilitate with teachers at Coppola Valley. Was very much the same as here. The strategies that work in a classroom there work in a classroom here. We used PALS, peer assisted learning strategies. I went into a classroom where they speak Nepali, but we were able to work together to start the strategy because the students were not reading well in Nepali. So we used a strategy and it worked well. The same with English strategies. We did a lot of different things. We did novel studies together. We worked on phonemic awareness. I taught them about the science of reading. It applies to Nepali just as much as it does in English. So it was wonderful learning for them, and it was great for me to share that with them. Culturally, I grew immensely. I learned a lot about, Hindu. I learned a lot about Buddhism. I learned a lot about the Nepali culture. They are the most gracious, thankful people. You can't go anywhere or leave anywhere without getting a blessing of tika and a prayer shawl. Like, it is truly a place of love. And personally, so many things happened for me. I was afraid to go. I was scared of the food. I was afraid of the water. I was afraid of everything. Snakes. Somebody did throw a snake at me when I was there. I did not like it. I just had a lot of fear when I left, and I realized that, one, that I can do anything, which is something that now that I'm 50, it's nice to know. But it transformed me as an educator. It gave me a global perspective on the challenges that we face in education and on the solutions that work. It also renewed my commitment to equity and access. Everybody deserves access to an opportunity to learn. And being here, that is what Maggie does. She not only does it for the children, she does it for parents, she does it for their little babies, everything. There's a picture of me on the bus. Teachers can ride the bus every day to and from school. Anybody in the community that's standing out can get picked up and get a ride to school and eat or go to the clinic. Like, it's just like that. They wrap around and take care of everybody. So I'm happy that I saw what I did there, but I also know that the work we're doing here in Finneytown is the right work. We're striving for equity, we're striving for access, and that is important. So I hope that through the presentation you'll see that the sabbatical just didn't benefit me and the students at Coppola Valley, that it will benefit students here, and I'm hopeful that we'll be seeing the ripples and the effects of my experience as I work and continue to work in Finneytown. Education is important no matter where you are, and so I appreciate it. So I'm going to end with thank you where I started. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you all for listening to my story. I appreciate it. And I just really appreciate it all. Thank you.
Work and dedication and investing in our children. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Jen, thank you for taking a chance. I know your passion comes through, but I know Nepal is not the most politically stable country right now, and that there were, I'm sure, a lot of challenges while you were there. But thank you for taking a chance and trying to gain a better understanding of our students here as well while you're there. So thank you.
Okay. Anything else to report, Mr. Smith? Okay. We will move on to item number 6, public address. Just have to read a few things here. The board believes it is in its best interest and the best interest of the students of the district to hear comments from the members of the public. It has been, therefore, a standing practice of the board to encourage and allow residents to speak at a public meeting. This may be done by completing the bottom portion of this form and giving it to the board president prior to the meeting. The following guidelines ensure that everyone interested in addressing the board may do so and that the board conducts the business of the school district in an effective and efficient manner. Number 1, attendees must register their intent to participate in the public participation portion of the meeting upon arrival of the meeting by completing this form and returning it to the board president or presiding officer. Number 2, each speaker is limited to 5 minutes. 3, the public record each speaker addressing the board must state their name, address, and their group affiliation, if and when appropriate. Any material or handouts must be presented to the treasurer for record. Number 4, the naming of individuals, profanity, abusive language, and speeches that invade individual privacies will not be tolerated or permitted. And number 5, the board will take no action regarding matters or issues presented through public address in the meeting in which the public address was made. All necessary follow-ups will be made verbally or in writing at a later date. So first up, we have Lee Harrell. Come on up. Thank you for being here, Lee.
Thank you for having me.
It's a really cold day, so it shows your hard work and dedication to our schools.
I'm from Cleveland originally.
So this is nothing compared to it.
Do you need us to speak on the mic?
Wherever you're comfortable.
Great.
Yep.
Can I just stand here?
Great.
Okay. All right. Well, good evening. Good evening. We're back to follow up on our October statement requesting financial transparency, special education advisory committee, the formation of that, and an independent needs assessment. While we haven't received direct response yet, I just want to say I'm grateful for the presentation that was made earlier. We'll definitely be reviewing that, and I very much appreciate it. To demonstrate our commitment to solutions and not just identifying problems, we've distributed a list of creative funding opportunities that other districts similar to ours have found successful. Tonight we'll be reviewing some information about a critical leadership gap, evidence that we may be leaving significant federal funding on the table, and concerns about special education funds that are being spent.
My name's Katrina, sorry. So first, a direct question. Who currently serves as or fulfills the responsibilities of a Director of Student Services or Director of Special Education for Finneytown? We've searched the district website and reviewed staff directories, and we can't identify anyone in this role. Our 25% IEP rate, nearly double Ohio's 14.8%, reflects our community's demographics. Research consistently shows that students from lower income families are identified for special education at higher rates due to limited access to early intervention, healthcare, and because they rely solely on school-based services rather than private therapies. This means our students need intensive support and coordinated expert oversight. Without a director of student services, we have interventional specialists and related service providers working without district-level guidance, no systematic IEP monitoring, and no one advocating for adequate resources at the administrative level. If this position is vacant, it must be filled immediately. If it's been eliminated, I think the decision needs to be reconsidered given our enrollment reality.
So let's look at the numbers. When we exclude capital construction costs and look only at current expenditures per student, the picture is pretty revealing. Finneytown spends around $15,000 per student. That's only slightly higher than Wyoming at $14,000 and comparable to Winton Woods at $15,000 and some change. However, the difference we found lies where these funds come from and how the dollars are allocated. According to the most recent NCES data, Finneytown received $1.9 million in federal funding, just 7% of our total revenue. which is comparable to wealthy districts like Wyoming and Madeira, but we're not a wealthy district. Reading community, with demographics similar to ours, receives 16% of their revenue from federal sources, more than double our percentage. Winton Woods, also serving a high-need population, receives 17% federal funding. I know there's a lot of numbers that I'm going to say here. It's also in the sheet, and we have it available. It's hard to follow along. So we're wondering, why is Finneytown's federal revenue so low? With 25% special education enrollment and higher poverty rates than wealthy districts, our funding would or should look like Reading and Winton Woods, not like Wyoming and Madeira.
Now let's talk about staffing disparities. Instructional aides. Winton Woods, who has 3,900 students with similar demographics, and they employ 111 instructional aides. Finneytown, with only about 1,200 students and 25% on IEPs, employs just 14 instructional aides. If we had Winton Woods student population with Finneytown's current staffing ratio, we would have 47 aides compared to their 111, more than double. Meanwhile, Finneytown has 19.2 FTE in instructional coordinators and supervisors. Winton Woods, 3 times our size, has 8 FTE. And when you combine Winton Woods, Madeira, Reading Community, and Wyoming, they still have less than half of Wyoming's 19.2 FTE. Or Finneytown, sorry. District administration support. Finneytown has 11 FTE.
You have 15 seconds on this set, and then I'll reset it.
Okay, perfect. Finneytown has 11 FTE. Reading, our closest competitor in size and demographics, has 5.6 FTE, half of what we have. Our other larger districts also have less. Wyoming has 8, Madeira has 5. This matters because federal IDEA funds must supplement, not replace state and local spending on special education. They are meant to enhance services, not be absorbed into administrative budgets. Without routine and continued transparent reporting, we cannot verify if this is or is not happening. Without a district director of student services making strategic decisions about resource allocation, we have no assurance that the federal dollars meant for our highest need students are actually reaching them.
Do you need to reset something?
I did it, yes.
Oh, thank you.
Yep, okay.
So tonight, we're asking for 5 specific things. 1, immediate clarification of who oversees special education services district-wide, and if the director of student services position is vacant, a timeline for filling it, or just explanation on who, how are we doing that? I realize it might actually not be that's the name of the role. 2, transparent reporting on special education expenditures, separate from construction revenue and spending. We need to see how IDEA funds were spent last year. I realize that tonight's presentation showed us a little bit of that, but consistently being able to see that and watching the numbers. Broken down by direct student services versus administrative costs, maintenance, and effort calculations, and a comparison of special education staffing levels over the past 5 years. 3, an explanation for why Finneytown receives only 7% federal funding when demographically similar districts receive 16 to 17%. What funds are we leaving on the table, if any? 4, an explanation for staffing disparities. Why does Winton Woods employ 111 aides while we only employ 14? And why is that ratio, student-to-teacher ratio, so different? 5, a response to the creative funding opportunities we've distributed tonight. Which will the district pursue? Also, just so you know, I'm a nonprofit leader and grant writer, happy to help.
All right, here's the bottom line. Finneytown serves a higher need population than many of our neighboring districts. It's not a deficit, it's our reality and our mission. But serving high-need students well requires strategic pursuit of available funding, expert leadership, and complete transparency. We have 25% of our students on IEPs climbing mountains every single day. They deserve to know that every available federal dollar is being pursued, that every dollar received is reaching them, and that resources are deployed strategically and not absorbed into administrative overhead. We're committed to working with Finneytown District to ensure all our special education students receive the education and supports they are entitled. Our family, we're here to stay. Our family isn't leaving Finneytown, and we'll be back next month and the month after that to continue talking about this until we see actions and get answers.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank
Thanks.
you, guys. Thank you for being here. We'll get together and get a response to you guys. I apologize for not reaching back out to you. Yes. Okay. Mike Hamill?
Hi, good evening. Michael Hamill, 8532 Brent Drive. And first off, I'd like to wish those of you here or listening online a happy Veterans Day. And thank you from the bottom of my heart and my family's hearts for your service. We really appreciate that. I've been mulling over last month's meeting as well and thinking about the situations, especially the need to throw back into the works, redesigning the mousetrap for the sake of students and the method of education. I don't understand the long-term goal that was extended out, the 3 to 5, I believe it was 3 to 5 year plan. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't understand why we're willing to take a risk on the kids. I mean, if you do the math, you think 3 to 5 years. If you're in 3rd or 6th grade, that's pretty good. You've got 6th grade to 8th grade to get through this program of new projects and learning abilities, and really excel by the time you're in 8th grade. If you're in 6th grade, you're going to be really excelling once you're up in 10th and 11th grade. But where does that leave our 10th graders and 11th graders and seniors? They're going to be right in the middle of this 3 to 5 year project and kind of left out in the cold by the time they are ready to graduate. I'm really confused about the project. I'm confused about the timeline. I'm confused about what the real goals are. So if I could have you guys explain that to me a little bit clearer, or somebody up here in the district, I would love to see some answers to help clarify this situation. I don't remember hearing about any steadfast proof that this new system is going to work or any effect that it may change on the inadequate report card, which this district is consistently challenged with. In fact, I would like to hear what proof is going to happen in 3 to 5 years, rather than just 3 to 5 years go by and we're going to be starting another program to try to figure out how to get the kids to really learn. History is proof. If we look at the history of what has happened through the dawn of man, history is proof of what is happening. And so if you look back at the history of stuff, I think that's where we need to start. Reading, writing, arithmetic, it worked for us, worked for the world for time immemorable, and I think we're missing some opportunities, especially at the risk of losing a lot of kids. I would like to end by reading you guys something from a book. That's another little excerpt from a book some of you might recognize. This one isn't so embarrassing. It's the last time I got up here to read. It says, "Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put better for sweet and sweet for bitter." In case you're curious, that came from Isaiah 5:20. I'd also like to encourage folks at home, that if you have any questions about education, to look into homeschooling your children until some of this situation is resolved. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mike. We'll get a response to you. Thank you. Okay. Moving on to item number 7, review of action steps from last month. Number 1, update on the Whitaker property, and I think we do have a little bit of information on that.
We do have an update. Thank you, Madam President. One of the things that we are proposing to the board is to have a executive meeting to have the attorney come in, give you an overview, and that would actually be on December 8th.
Okay, so not.
And then the next board meeting, 7 days later, on the 15th, we would bring it back to the board in open session, especially so that the community could see your views and how you vote. Of course, you cannot vote in an executive session anyway, but I think it's going to be important for the community to see how transparent you are about what's happening in the community, especially with the Whitaker property. And we would be bringing it back for you for a vote of a consideration on December 15th.
Do we have a time for December 8th? Or
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock,
Yes, ma'am.
okay. Okay, thank you for that.
You said 6 o'clock?
Yes.
Item number 2, student exit surveys. Do we have an update for that?
Yes, so I have had at least one session with students. These are actually seniors that are transitioning, and they're going to be probably the most honest students that we have, only because what do they have to lose? They're graduating, they're transitioning, and I decided to make a shift in the exit survey conversation. I plan on asking them during our time together, why would students transition from Finneytown? Why would they leave? They would know. And the other part, they would actually be able to give me some insight of how to stop some of the students from possibly leaving. The exit survey, when you do it, it's already done, meaning that people have already transitioned. It's too late. But I believe that especially the way the students here embrace community, I believe they know more than we give them credit for. I think they could give me some insight and give teachers and staff some insight. Here's a student, here's a family who's thinking about transitioning. And if other people are going to talk to them about, have you been involved in clubs and activities? Are you really invested in the school? Maybe they don't leave. Because I don't know if everybody knows about every opportunity that's available here. But once you get the survey, we're reading something that's already happened. That's too late. So I'm going to rely on seniors. They're intuitive. They understand the district. They understand the needs of other students. And many of them have siblings in the district as well. So they may be able to encourage students to participate in more activities and get more involved in their school as opposed to an exit. So that's the strategy.
What is the process if someone withdraws? Like, are we notified like in a month, or is it like a 30-day process?
It's
Like, is it pretty
immediate
quick?
because we need to send that information to the other, the other school. So hopefully we get ours pretty rapid, but I think we're looking at it, I'm going to look at it from a different lens. I want to know why before you do, and they may be the best people to tell us.
Any questions? No?
That's a great approach.
Moving on to item number 8, board coordination matters. Who would like to go first?
I can go first, mine's really simple. So I don't really have anything to update on. FAA met this weekend, but I'm actually going to the Boosters, which is meeting later this week, so haven't had our meetings yet.
Okay. Anybody else like to go?
I was at a PTA meeting, and again, it's the same. They need volunteers, they need people to participate, and they're a hardworking group that are very, very passionate about the students. And I had some suggestions with my kids' schools, PTA. I'm going to pass some information on to Nancy. But again, a hardworking group, anyone that can volunteer to help them, it would be beneficial and much appreciated, I'm sure.
Who got the mayor?
I don't know who got the mayors.
It was Finnegan.
Finnegan got the
Finnegan?
mayor?
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was Chad's dog, actually.
Oh, is that
Yeah.
right? Well, congratulations.
Congratulations on election and your dog being mayor. All right. Do you want to go, Seth?
Okay, well, we had a chance to see the FMPA's marching band, and just let you know that they actually, a couple weeks ago, they went to the Ohio Music Education Association, the OMEAs. They got actually superior in all categories, And then this past Saturday, they went to the Mid-States, and they actually got 6th place. So they keep showing how great these guys are, how dedicated our students are, and how great our directors are working with them as well. The alumni, again, if you're always interested in knowing the history of Finneytown, they have a book. The proceeds of the book go to Legacy Project, of which Mr. Anderson was talking about, because that Legacy program project is helping to revitalize the PAC, helping to revitalize the lobby and bathrooms and everything else in the gym, and then everything else that we need to do. So, and you don't have to be alumni to belong, so go to finneytownalumni.org. Our youth football, the Crusaders, their season has finished off, and they were just one game short, or actually one touchdown short of actually getting to the Claremont County Youth Football League's Super Bowl. So they got so close for their first inaugural year being with the CCYFL, and so we look forward for next year as the kids grow up and as our kids actually go into the junior high as well. So great things are happening there. And at the elementary PTA, if you're bored and want to go to a meeting, Wednesday at 7, this Wednesday at 7, going to be at the elementary media center. And Christmas is around the corner. Also Hanukkah is around the corner, and other holidays if you need. So the winter market is actually the 6th. The very first weekend of, or first Saturday of December. So shop at Finneytown, shop local, and hopefully get your book as well. So that's what.
Yep. To add to that, Wildcat Serve is looking for volunteers and donations. So if you have anything, there's no small amount that could, help a family. Anything you can donate or give, we could really use your support with Wildcat Serve. So wanted to throw that out there. And there are resources also in the newsletters from our principals for, people who are struggling and need resources for food. Don't hesitate to reach out. Do you have anything, Eddie?
Yeah. So did want to say there's the Finneytown Alumni Network is sponsoring a turkey trot. Finneytown Alumni Network is sponsoring a turkey trot on Thanksgiving Day, actually, at 9 a.m. at the Border Nature Preserve. You can spend $20 and order a t-shirt in advance, but bring the kids, bring kids in strollers, and everybody will be walking around, so it'll be a big community event for those that don't have, most of us don't have morning plans on Thanksgiving. So if you're interested in coming to that, I'll see you
So
there.
is it a 5K, or what is it?
No,
Or just
it's
a little walk?
it is a community walk.
Okay.
So it's not really a competition, it's more just for building community. It's on the Finneytown Alumni Network's Facebook page and on their website. You get a cool little t-shirt and get to walk around. So I imagine there'll be a lot of moms there with children, and maybe the dads are home sleeping, maybe they're there with them. We'll see. I will be there, but 9 a.m. on Thanksgiving morning. Also wanted to say our band made enough of an impact that I work in Kentucky. I work at a school in northern Kentucky in Boone County. I actually had students from my school mention to me, we saw Finneytown at the Claremont Band Invitational, and they were fantastic. So I had my students, because they know I'm on the board here at Finneytown, and they actually made enough of an impact that they were like, wow, your school has a really good band. So, they're making a large enough impact that I'm hearing my students come and telling me about it, which is pretty cool. That's the first time I've had anybody from my school actually mention them. So I know they might have crossed paths in the past, but. Additionally, I will not be here at next month's board meeting because I have a work conflict. I think I shared that with you guys via email since the last meeting. So this will be my last board meeting. I still have 2 more years on the board, but last board meeting with this makeup of the board. And I just wanted to say to each one of you that's on the board that it's been a pleasure to work with you. Those of you that have been here at these meetings, you've seen the way that this board has interacted over the last 4 years. You've seen our rough times, our times of growth, and I am happy to say that I respect each and every one of you. So I've come to be able to work with every single one of you. That's quite the statement, considering the 4 years that we've had. If I ever have a legal question, Jamie's my person to call, even once he's off the board. Not about school board stuff, but just in general. Seth, you're new. You're going to be here with me. So, Jalicia is, she's become a friend of mine. She appreciate what she does in the community even more. And Lindsay has this perspective on data and this way of organizing things that no one else on the board has really had. But only those of us here on the board actually know everything that we've gone through as a board. There are things you haven't seen, that you can't see, and it's been great to be here through all that with you. I'm glad we're ending on a positive note, with unity as a board. I'm glad we brought in Mr. Smith. I'm glad that you're here. It's been, at least the last year has been a pleasure, the last few years as we've grown to working together as a team. So thank you all, and I'm sure we'll still be in touch even after you guys leave. And you're always welcome back. So consider it in a few years. I did want to say on that note, welcome and congratulations to Chad Engelman. He's in the back, so he was on the board for a while with Finneytown, and he was our board president for a while, so he'll be coming back because he was elected in the election earlier this month. And also to Maggie Laird, who's also here, and then Amy Catanzaro. And I look forward to working with, I'm sure that Seth does too, to working with the three of you. So we have new and exciting things to come as a board, and hope that we'll be able to work together as a team as well. So, thank you for being here.
All right. Anything else? Okay, moving on to item number 9, financial matters. May I have a motion, please?
I'll motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. This brings us to you.
All right, for the monthly report, total revenues, and I'm just going to do this kind of briefly because we are trying to head towards executive section with the attorney. Okay, so total revenues for the month of October was $1,423,062. Total expenditures for the month of October, $1,810,204. Our ending cash balance for the month of October, $13,675,332. And I do practice saying these numbers before I come here. All right, so for the construction project, total proceeds so far for the project is $63,382,552. We have expended so far $28,382,429, leaving cash available of $35,123,000. I will say that in the month of October, we expended $500,000 plus or minus towards the project. So things are starting to really ramp up. Item B for depository and investment balances as of October 31 for U.S. Bank, $240,148. U.S. Bank Construction, $1,835,685. Star Ohio Construction number 1, $3,176,818. Star Ohio, $28,511,991. Star Ohio Construction 2, $3,317,370. Star Ohio, the local share, $153,456. And then Ohio, the state share, $6,508,838. Interest earned, item C, interest earned on depository and investment accounts as of October 31. In the general fund, $105,489. In the construction fund, $23,553. And in the classroom facilities fund, $19,281.68. I did want to say briefly that I was able to attend 2 of the Hamilton County Commissioners' meetings in October. I was there alongside other school treasurers and public service representatives from across the county. The commissioners were considering a proposed measure to approve a piggyback homestead exemption and owner-occupied credit, while the intention was to provide, which is, the intention of these things are to provide property tax relief for homeowners. The financial impact on local schools and public services would have been substantial. If approved, this measure would have resulted in a revenue loss of $461,885 for Finneytown Local School District and $664,769 for Springfield Township, with no reimbursement from the state to offset these losses. This would have directly affected the resources available to educate and support students and essential services in the township. It is very clear that property tax reform is needed. However, any discussion about how to achieve that reform must include a wide range of voices. Meaningful solutions require thoughtful collaboration and a shared commitment to supporting both homeowners and the public services that rely on property tax revenue. While the commissioners chose not to move forward with the measure at this time, the broader conversation continues. There are several bills related to public school funding and property taxes being considered in the state legislature. Their outcomes will have a direct impact on our community and our educational services that we are able to provide. That is my report. Can I have a roll call vote, please? I guess that's also me, right? Ms. Lee?
Yes.
Ms. McMullen?
Yes.
Mr. Plout?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yep.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving on to item number 10, superintendent's recommendations. May I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Smith?
Yes, Madam President and Board. The first item is acknowledgement of resignations. Letter A, approval of contracts, 1-year limited classified. Letter B, approval of payments, certified staff members. Letter C, athletic supplemental for 25-26. Letter D, Ms. Ruffin, on the approval of contracts, academic supplemental 24-25, is that accurate?
Which one again?
On letter E.
So D and E are accurate. The adjustments are in F and G.
I mean the year.
Yes? Yes? No?
That would be going
Oh, that's
back a year.
24.
Yeah, it should be
2025.
Where am I looking?
25-26.
Item E, is it academic supplementals for this year or last year?
Yeah,
Oh, it's for this year.
okay.
So
All right.
no, that, I was
Just
looking
the
at
wrong-
I was looking at the small print. The big print is not right.
All right, okay. So it should read 25-26?
Correct.
25-26.
Okay. Approval of supplemental rate correction, athletic supplemental 2025-26. Approval of supplemental rate correction, academic supplemental 2025-2026. That would be letter G. And letter H, adoption of resolution payment in lieu of transportation. And letter I, resolution verifying assistant principal assignment.
Can I ask a question on that one?
Yes, sir.
Really quickly? Will this now mean Gerald is considered an administrator on our paperwork?
He would be considered an administrator on the paperwork.
Okay, thank you.
Does it change his duties?
It actually, it will add to his duties, but it does not change his rate of pay and his other responsibilities. He still will be the athletic director.
So with this essentially, this gives him the ability to do administrative responsibilities that he wouldn't otherwise be able to do if another
Absolutely.
administrator is not present.
Yes, sir.
Is that the main purpose? Not necessarily to give him, well, he won't be in the building dealing with disciplinary issues unless he's
Well, in
needed.
some cases, there needed to be another administrator that would sign off on paperwork. And this gives him the flexibility to do so, but he still would probably consult with the other administrator, at least in the case, if it were me, I would definitely recommend that.
And if another administrator were to leave, there could be a possibility that he could end up being a full-time administrator, depending on what he's interested in. I guess that could You don't have to answer that question, but I'm just saying the obvious.
Yeah,
but
with other parts that go with it.
it would already be licensed.
Yes, sir.
And truth be told, he's already done, when.
He's done it
Yeah,
before.
we
He's done it
Yeah.
before, so we finally compensated
He's
him for
finally
what he needs.
getting what he deserves, yeah. Okay.
Letter J, acceptance of donations. And the donations piece, I always like to read simply because I think it's just awesome that people want to give to the district, no matter how much the dollar amount is. So it's a cash donation of $200 to the Finneytown Art Department from Conover Family Dental on October 2nd, and then a cash donation of $250 to Bali for the Good from Parker Roofing on October 1st.
Okay. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Ms. McMullen?
Yes.
Mr. Pollak?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yep.
Mr. Reeb?
Yes.
Ms. Lee?
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving on to item number 11, approval of the addendum to superintendent's contract. May I have a motion, please?
So moved. Oh, I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion on this? We are just extending Mr. Smith's contract 1 year, so he'll serve 2 years for Finneytown. So we're extending the contract. So that's what that means there. Any discussion?
I'm sorry. I just want to say a few things. That the fact that in August, we invited you to, Mr. Smith, sorry. In August, we invited you to come to our district to help us with the transition that was created. And you jumped in with, well, feet first and student facing that we've asked you to do, and we appreciate everything you're doing. You have helped every time Ms. McMillan and I, and the three of us sit down. You always show us things that we have to overcome and things that we are doing great and what we can do even better. And that excitement has gotten, at least I can speak for myself, but I believe Ms. McMullen and I are excited about the upcoming things that can be happening. And as you go through the community, if we do, hopefully we vote you to extend the contract, that all the ideas and all the concepts we can have kept going, we can keep moving forward with the success, and we can start being transparent and start cultivating our current great team that we have to be as great as they are. They can be excellent educators moving forward. So I appreciate your wisdom, your experience, and your attention to detail. So thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Speak as well. So, Mr. Smith, I did want to say thank you for being willing to stick around an extra year. I know when when you first came in, it was just a year we were talking about, and you weren't necessarily even sure if you would want to stay longer than a year. And I appreciate that you've gotten here and you're like, wow, this is a place where I would want to stay a little bit longer. I appreciate that your willingness to stick around for that extra year. I also want to highlight that if we did not extend your contract, that we would pretty much be immediately searching for a new superintendent as soon as the new board were to come on, while also evaluating your progress over a very short period of time. It just didn't seem to make logistical sense to me. So, thank you.
All right. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Lee?
Yes.
Ms. McMullen?
Yes. Motion passes. Moving on to item number 12, approval of substitute teachers provided by Comprehensive Substitute Solutions. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
I'll second.
Okay. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Excuse me. Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Abstain.
Ms. Lee?
Yes.
Ms. McMullen?
Yes.
Mr. Posh?
Yes.
Okay. Motion passes. Moving on to item number 13, review of action steps.
I didn't hear any.
I know we have to get back to a couple of people, and you and I can chat with that, Mr. Smith. I have that. Anything else? Okay.
I did want to say something really quick about item number 12, the list of substitutes. On the next meeting, you won't see this list anymore. because we have learned that it is not required for the district to put this list on the agenda. I guess at one time it was, but things change. So it is not required for us to do that. So you will not be seeing the list of substitutes on the agenda anymore. It will be approved at the COG by their board, the list of supplements.
In
of
addition to
people,
that-
the COG, the Center of Substitutes, whatever, that's their nickname.
Ms. Ruffin, the other part that we need to let the board know, when the public looks at this list, they make the assumption that that's how many subs we have on a regular basis, like daily.
Right.
And that's not accurate. So when they look at the list, they're saying, this is how many subs you have, because they see it go through the board minutes every month. So we'll list it the first time in the beginning of the school year, and then we won't see it again unless some additional names are added.
And will Eddie then know if Eddie's reason for abstaining is that his wife is on the list? So will he know when it's appropriate for him to abstain? I don't want.
Well, once it's off, once it is off of our agenda, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, item number 13, announcements. The next regular meeting of the Finneytown Board of Education will take place on Monday, December 15th, 2025, my birthday. Brent Board Office Meeting Room, 8791 Brent Drive, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45231. Open forum will begin at 6 o'clock. Item number 14, executive session. May I have a motion to move into executive session?
So moved.
Okay. This concludes our regular meeting.
We have a roll
I'm
call
sorry,
vote.
roll call vote. Okay. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Ms. Lee,
Yes?
Ms. McMullen,
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Reed.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we are in executive session.